A federal high court in Lagos has ordered the permanent forfeiture of properties valued at over 11.14 billion naira and another 1.04 billion naira linked to the former CBN governor, talking about Godwin Emefiele. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had filed an application for the forfeiture, alleging that the properties were purchased with proceeds of fraud. The court had earlier granted a temporary forfeiture order on June 5th and has now made the forfeiture permanent. The FCC has also named 2 current and 1 former CBN staff as Emefiele's accomplices in the alleged fraud. Justice Chukwu Jeku Aneke delivered the judgment, bringing a conclusion to the case. Joining me on the news right now to share his thoughts on this is a legal practitioner, Elvis Asia. Thank you for your time. Now, let's get straight to it. Godwin Emefiele is suspected to have bought properties by proxy with proceeds of fraud. Now, what legal evidences did the prosecutors present for this to be admissible in court?
Well, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act gives the Commission the power to carry out investigation, and in the course of doing that, to trace assets that are linked to the crime that is allegedly committed. And when those assets are traced, the law also allows the Commission to apply to the court for forfeiture. First, on an interim basis, which means that the other party is not aware. They approach the court and the court makes the order. In this particular instance, it was made, I think, last week or thereabout. But a date was now fixed for the hearing of the substantive motion for forfeiture, which is the final order that will be made. But nobody showed up, and so the court made it final. The kind of evidence that's required essentially is you must establish that a crime has been committed and that the assets in question are linked to the commission of that crime. That is, the assets in question are proceeds of that crime. So if once that is established and the court is satisfied with the evidence that is put forward by the commission, then the orders will be made. But I must assure you that you must put in substantial evidence before the court, which will clearly identify the crime committed, which will clearly identify the assets and the proceeds of that crime. And so once that is done, the court will then be able to make the order.
All right. Now, the properties were initially temporarily forfeited to the federal government. However, the court ordered the permanent forfeiture of same. My question to you is this: can you take us through how exactly this works?
Well, the way it works, like I earlier explained, is that upon in the course of an investigation into allegations of crime, the commission would, of course, look out for evidence, trace properties and assets of the alleged crime, and those assets are then frozen. An application is made to the court, ex parte, that is the persons who are allegedly owners of the property are not aware. So the court makes the order in the first place on the interim, that is more like a temporary order that is given. And then the persons who are alleged to own that properties have the opportunity to approach the court to say that, look, this order you have made is not proper. These assets were legitimately acquired. So once they can satisfy the court of that, then the process, the court will then lift the order. But in this particular instance, nobody came forward to claim those properties, and so it was made final. Now, once that happens, the property then, becomes vested on the federal government, and the investigation obviously will continue. And so that's what has happened in this case. The courts derives its powers to do this under various laws. In this particular instance, under the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, I think section 26 to 29 of the Act, which empowers the court to do this. And the idea is that you don't want people to benefit from alleged crimes. Because, if somebody has, let me just give you an instance, somebody has stolen 50 billion, for example, he wouldn't mind going to jail for some years and still come back to the property, or his family will be enjoying the benefits of the assets. But with this process, that is taken away in order to discourage the commission of such crimes.
Now, would you say to some extent the judiciary has been fair to Godwin and Emefiele, and of course the entire case generally?
Well, I mean, for you to do a proper assessment, you have to have all the documentations, all the processes filed in court so far, and all of that. But based on what is reported in the media, it would seem that you can't really blame the judiciary. Somebody can be alleged to have committed various offenses, and charges can be brought. And so even if you are granted bail in one charge, for example, the security agencies can still hold on to you for the purpose of arraigning you for another charge. I think that's what was happening with the Emefiele bail and all of that. So in that regard, one cannot really blame the judiciary. Another thing you also have to appreciate the fact that is the fact that this is a very high. I mean, the stakes are quite high. You and I know how the economy of this country was run aground by CBN policies, allegedly, due to the actions of Emefiele. So that would have also counted in the way and manner the processes are placed before the court and how the court will decide. So you can't really blame the judiciary for this. You perhaps might feel that the EFCC has not been fair in the way and manner the case has been handled, particularly with respect to bail. But like I said, you could be charged with more than one offense for different instances, and that may make the agency to have the power to, bring it before another court. And in that process, whatever bail you got before may have been forfeited. So that is only in that regard that I would say that there has been some unfairness, but you can't really attribute that to the judiciary. That, I believe, it's as a result of EFCC, maybe the pressure on them from the presidency and other external forces, but not the judiciary has been doing its job. The process of asset forfeiture is very clear. If those who allegedly owe those assets, if they had legitimate basis for owing them, they could have come forward, but nobody came. And so I want to believe that the judiciary has been fair.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight on the news, Elvis.
Thank you.